In the pitch black of midnight, my son whispered secrets to his friend, his giggles slivering the silence like a knife. I chalked it up to a child's wild illusions until the security camera feed froze on a faceless figure bending over him, its void eyes locked on mine through the screen. What it whispered back still echoes in my nightmares. I'm Sarah, a single mom in a rotting Victorian house with my 6-year-old son, Ethan. He's my light, always doodling twisted creatures, humming creepy tunes, and chatting with Toby, his so-called imaginary friend. Initially, it was fascinating. Ethan would leave a bent spoon on the veranda for Toby, or murmur to the shadows in the basement. "Toby's here, Mom," he'd say, his eyes glinting oddly. Then the marks loomed. Rough, red scratches on Ethan's arms, like claws scraping his skin. "Toby plays rough," he'd whisper, picking at the bruises. I tore apart his room, searched the basement's dampish corners, and even called a doctor. Nothing solved it. One night, Ethan showed me a sketch in the flickering light. It was Toby, a skeletal, towering figure with no face, just a twitching black void where eyes should be. "He lives in the walls," Ethan said, his voice flat. My heart shrieked. That night, everything shattered. I tucked Ethan in. As I locked his door, my phone buzzed, a motion warning from the security camera in his room. I opened the app, anticipating him to fidget. Instead, a towering shadow hovered in the corner, its edges pulsing like a heartbeat. It wasn't human. It was staring at him. My shrill caught in my throat. The shadow's head twitched as if it noticed me through the screen. I sprinted to Ethan's room. "Ethan!" I burst in. He was asleep, curled under his ragged blanket, but the air reeked of mold, like something rotten nearby. No shadow, just stillness. I fell onto the sofa, rewatching the camera feed. At 1:19 a.m., the shadow appeared, not stepping, but creeping from the wall. It drifted over Ethan, its void face inches from his. Then it sank into the floor. Morning came, gray and cold. Ethan sat in the vicinity, scratching at a new wound on his neck. "Toby says you're spying," he said, his voice hollow, eyes fixed on the ground. He clutched a new drawing, Toby's faceless form, but now with elongated fingers. "What does Toby want?" I asked, my voice trembling. Ethan's lips curled. "He wants to stay, forever." I drove to the local library, the car's heater whirling. An old clerk handed me a washed-out article from 1979 about our house. A boy, Timothy, disappeared from his bed. His parents found scratches on the walls and a note. "My friend took me." My hands shivered. Timothy, Toby. That night, I fitted cameras in the basement and attic, their red lights blinking like eyes. At 2 a.m., Ethan's voice hissed through the monitor. "Toby, that hurts!" I raced to his room. He was alone, but a fresh cut bled on his cheek. The basement feed flashed something worse, shadows spiraling in the dark, forming a faceless figure that clawed at the concrete floor. The next day, I took Ethan to a church. He clung to me, rumbling, "Toby's mad. He's in the car." I browsed the parking lot. The windows were fogged, but something moved inside, smearing the glass. My stomach staggered. At home, I found Ethan's drawings scattered across the kitchen table. Each one exposed Toby, but his void face was altering, jagged red lines forming a smirk. The air grew heavy, like breathing through wet fabric. "We're leaving," I told Ethan, forcing clothes into a duffel bag in the living room. "No!" he shrieked, knocking over a chair. "Toby says he'll follow. He needs me." "Ethan, he's not real," I screamed, but my voice trembled. The cameras said otherwise. At midnight, I stayed in Ethan's room, a flashlight in one hand, my phone in the other. The house was sullen, but the air buzzed, like static before a storm. At 3 a.m., 3 keen knocks rattled the attic floor above us. "Mommy?" Ethan whimpered, crawling into my lap. The camera feed flickered. The shadow was back, standing by Ethan's bed. But now, a smaller shadow stood beside it, child-sized, faceless, holding its hand. My phone clinked again. The attic camera showed new crayon marks on the beams, scrawled in red. "We're family now." Suddenly, the bathroom door rattled. 3 slow knocks echoed, not from the door, but inside the walls. Ethan sobbed, "He's here, Mommy." The light flickered, and the mirror reflected something behind us. A faceless shadow, its spidery fingers reaching. I grabbed Ethan and hurried to the car, gravel crunching underfoot. As we sped away, I saw it in the rearview mirror, a tall figure in the doorway, its head tilting eerily. A smaller shadow stood beside it. We crashed at a motel, its neon sign buzzing. I called a priest, who blessed the house the next day. "Something has clenched onto this place," he said, his cross trembling in his hand. "It's not just a spirit. It's hungry." We moved to a new apartment, far from that cursed house. Ethan's scratches healed. He stopped drawing Toby. But last night, I woke to a blurry sound. 3 slow knocks from the closet. I checked Ethan's backpack and found a new drawing. Toby's faceless form, but now with a red, creepy smile and words scrawled below. "I'm home." The closet door creaks open at night, a faint whisper slithering out, like a voice imitating Ethan's. Last night, I found crayon shavings on his pillow, red and black, though his crayons are still packed away. This morning, Ethan hummed a tune, the same eerie melody I heard in that cursed house. When I asked him about it, he smirked, his eyes gleaming oddly. "Toby taught me," he said, and pointed to the ceiling, where a scratch mark curved like a grin.